Welcome to the Business and Bubbly podcast. This is the place for women in business who are on the journey of building their big ideas and want to have fun along the way. It's for those of us who also know we aren't meant to do business or life alone. Hi, I'm Charity Majors, your host and the founder of Business and Bubbly. Think of this kind of like the can I pick your brain chats that you've always wanted to have with those who are doing epic things, plus business besties, hype girls, and getting into massive action towards your next big idea all in the same place. Oh, and bubbles, because if you're not having fun along the way, you're not doing it right. Together, we'll unlock what it means to be seen, known, heard, and championed all along the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and being a woman in business building big dreams. Each week, I'll bring you a quick sip business tip, as well as interviews from top experts that make you feel like you're getting bottle service for your business. We're having the raw and real conversations and chatting about all the things, the messy middle, the pivots, scaling, the good days and the bad days, because here we do real. It's where we can work hard, play hard, cry it out, and dance it out all at the same time without being judged. This is a place where we are in the arena together and we are each other's biggest fans because most of us have enough comments from the cheap seats. It's where our too much is par for the course and where the gaps of our not enough are filled in by the other epic women that are around us. It's where we can be unapologetic about the mission we are on, about the big dreams on our heart, and the business we are building without having to be perfect or have it all together, or even pretend to. It's a supportive community where business is being done amongst like-minded women, because when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. It's a place where you have the support around you to get out of your comfort zone and go after your big ideas, because even when you fail forward or when you reach the top, you know it won't be alone. Also, if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm obsessed with creating platforms that lift up other women to be seen and heard and known. So with that in mind, I'd like to invite you to list your business on our directory called Find Women in Business. All you've got to do is text the word directory to 833-231-8098, and I'll text you the link back to get your free listing. This is also a great way to connect with other women in business from around the world, so definitely check it out. And now let's get to the good stuff. Grab a glass of your favorite beverage, Prosecco, bubbly water, or whatever your flavor is, and let's dive in. Are you with me? Here we go. Hey sis, welcome to the show. I'm excited to have you here today on this quick sip episode with me, your host, Charity Majors. And today's episode, we are going to chat a little bit about how to prepare for your next speaking event. And if this is your first time joining us or you're new here, welcome to Business and Bubbly. These episodes, these quick sip episodes, these are kind of your get in, get out, get some quick tips, kind of like your happy hour, your quickie. You don't have to hang out, for an hour-long episode. This is just kind of your quick jolt of whether it's information or inspiration or transformation. And these episodes are brought to you by our Find Women in Business directory. This is the go-to place to not only have your business listed, but have you ever gone to a Facebook group and been like, who is a good social media manager? Or I need to hire a graphic designer. Like, who do you recommend? Well, instead of going to random people on Facebook in a group of 4 million people, go to findwomeninbusiness.com. You'll be able to check out the women on the directory, like who to do business with. These are like-minded women like you, like me, who are modern women in business, who are not kind of stuck in the 1990s of doing things the way business has been done. And your website is going to look like it was done in 1990, right? Like, these are modern women in business who are getting, who are up to speed, who are getting the understanding. They know what it looks like to be like us, like modern women in business. So again, just go over to findwomeninbusiness.com. You'll be able to not only search for other women in business, but if you use the code BESTIE25 at checkout, when you list your business to be seen and known as the expert that you are, then you will get a discount on your listing as well. All right, now we are going to check out, or we're going to chat a little bit about how to prepare for your next speaking event or speaking gig, or maybe you're going to a networking event, maybe you're going to a space where you're going to be in the room. And I know for me, I've actually been speaking for over a decade. I've done tons of speaker trainings with really amazing people like Jack Canfield and Lisa Nichols and John Maxwell and like all these amazing names and people and different things like that. And one thing that I've learned is that as we go to prepare, that is what matters. That helps us hold the space and the energy for the room that we are about to walk into. Now, I actually we just had our major Business and Bubbly Summit not too long ago, which was incredible. We had speakers and breakout sessions and roundtable masterminds and vendors, and it was just this amazing room filled with epic modern women in business. And I got the question of I actually led a breakout session about how to become an impactful speaker, how to lead the room confidently, and we had a really great group of women. And one of the questions was, okay, how do I prepare for an event? Whether it's my mind space or how do I put together a message and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to give you a few tips here in this episode. So as you're preparing for your next speaking event, whether it's in person, online, on a podcast, different things like that, one of my favorite things to do is, yes, of course, rehearse. Now, it's really easy to get 3 main points of what you're going to be speaking about, right? And this could be your top 3 this, or the don't make these 3 mistakes, or these are my 3 hacks to do whatever it might be that you're speaking about. And yes, rehearse those things. But then what I also do leading up to the event is I then go into a space of not just rehearsing and regurgitating, this robotic speech that I've practiced or done, but I move into a space of trusting that then what's inside of me is going to be pulled out by the people that I'm speaking with for exactly what they need to hear. Okay. So yes, there's a space of preparation, but then I also, like I said, I love to marry that with trust. Okay. And this comes from, again, as a speaker, it can be really easy to, when you're done speaking, it can be really easy to should all over yourself. Trust me, this actually used to paralyze me when I was beginning speaking. I remember I would share something, or I'd get up on stage, or I would share something, and then all of a sudden I was done, and I would oh, I should have said this, and oh, I should have told that story, and oh, I should have, oh, I forgot about this thing, and oh, that would have been so good. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just should all over myself. And one of my speaking coaches, I remember her saying that you have to move into this element of trust, that not only how you prepared and what's inside of you, what came out of you is exactly what was needed to be heard at that exact moment. And what didn't come out of you, right? What you didn't say, the story that you didn't tell, was exactly what was not needed to be heard in that exact moment. And so you have to trust the energetic exchange that goes on when you are leading from the front of the room, that the people that are in the room, that the ideas that maybe pop into your head, or that little rabbit trail that you might go on, or that little thought that comes in, you have to trust that you, as the leader, as the facilitator, as the space holder of this room, of this audience, of these people, that as they are drawing energy out of you, as you are giving them energy, as you are giving them your stories, your words, your experience, your expertise, that they're also like drawing things out of you, like, oh, I have a question, right? They might think about it, and you are on the energetic frequency to be able to pick that up. And that story that pops into your head, or that little thought, or that extra tip, or that moment of pause that lets the magic of the in-between happen in the room, you have to be able to lean in and trust that, right? So it's this marrying of trust. It's this marrying of preparation and trust. Okay, so that is one of my biggest tips when it comes to preparing for a speaking event. The next one is to find the places where you are going to need support, okay? So as you are preparing to go into this space and really hold space and support, be the energetic support, the energetic space holder for this room, for the capacity, whether it's 3 people, whether it's 20 people, whether it's 50 people, 500 people, whatever the 5,000 people, whatever the space that you are holding, the attention that you are holding, the gaze that you are holding of the people in the room, you are also going to need places where you are being supported in your life leading up to as well as afterwards, okay? So when I'm preparing to speak at an event or host my own event, I am adding in those extra places of support. So what that could look like is it might mean a little extra self-care, right? So it might mean I'm getting a massage, I'm going to the chiropractor, I am getting my nails in my toe, I'm getting my hair done. I'm doing these things that are self-love. I'm setting aside time for my favorite bubble bath. I'm getting like a new candle, that is like smelling good to me. I am supporting myself leading up to the event. And then I'm also doing the same thing afterwards, because after, at least for me, when I speak, it fills me up, because I know it's one of the things that I am absolutely called to be, as a voice and to lead from the front of the room. But it also is very energetically, it's also is very, even just time-wise, capacity-wise, as you're preparing for it, it can also take a lot out of you. And so for me, I'm also implementing those support systems at the tail end of the event. It's kind of, I bookend self-love and self-care before and after the event, right? So like I said, those are things like massages and chiropractor and, like bubble baths and even meal delivery, or I'm making sure that, we've got that my family's has easy meals that they can pop in the oven and cook really easily. I'm implementing some extra childcare if I need to, but also I'm implementing those extra times of connection with my husband and with my son, with my family, so that they don't necessarily feel neglected and, pushed aside while I am focusing in on preparing for this event. So those are some that's the tip number 2, is to make sure that you're supporting yourself before and after you are doing this speaking event. And then the last one, like I mentioned, is not only leaning into trust before, but it's also leaning into trust after. And this is where I kind of mentioned it, where it's like, you don't necessarily, you can't should all over yourself for the rest of eternity and think that that's going to be okay. You have to be able to trust that what was given, that what you poured out, again, was exactly what was needed to be heard and given, and how it was received in the room is then up to the audience. Okay. Now understand that you are going to be for some people and you're not going to be for other people. And that is okay. And understand that actually has nothing to do with you, right? As a speaker, as a facilitator, as a leader from the front of the room, it has nothing to do with you. Some people are open and they are going to be the ones that can receive anything from anyone, right? For me, my 6-year-old son is one of my biggest teachers, right? And it's because I'm open to that. It's because he reminds me of how amazing the world is, and this childlike wonder and curiosity and fun and adventure and play, and that I can always be learning, and he comes up with the best questions, right? So even though I'm older than him, even though I'm smarter than him, all this different stuff, he is one of my biggest teachers. And so it has nothing to do with how people receive what you're saying, or how people receive whether it's the product that you're offering from stage or the message that you're sharing from the front of the room. How they receive it is then up to them. So you have to be able to let go. Like, you're going to be for some people and you're going to not be for other people. And that's okay, right? Because the people that are for you, like, those are your people. What I've learned is that in different seasons, there's going to be different types of people that are for you. And there are going to be different types of people that are not for you. And what I have found is that the people that are for you, especially in a new season, maybe you're in a season of transition, maybe you are in a space where you're going, like moving from one thing to the next, or you're growing into your next level. The people that are for you in your next season, they will be the ones that speak at you, that encourage you for your higher self, or for what heaven says about you, okay? For the next version of yourself. They're going to be the ones that support you and encourage you and speak to you as that person. And the ones that aren't necessarily for you in that next season, they're going to be the ones that they're kind of still tied to this old version of you. Maybe they're viewing you as your past self, or maybe they're looking through a lens of their own personal perspective, which might not necessarily be the type of person that is allowed to come with you into your next season of growth. So understand that. So we've got this, preparation. Get you an easy way, again, get your 3 points, your 3 nuggets, your 3 hacks, your 3 what not to do's, whatever it is. And then we're leaning into preparation married with trust. We're leaning into support. You're implementing those supportive systems before and afterwards. And then as well as afterwards, after your speaking event, then you are really leaning into that trust aspect of things, that who is for you, that those that resonate with you, that they are going to be the ones that will grow with you into the next season, into the next level. And then I know when I'm done with my speaking engagement, what I like to do is just a quick, simple visualization. But this is just kind of like I close out energetically in my mind. Like, I just I kind of get this picture of detaching from the outcome. Like, I sit there and I visualize, because our imagination is an incredible thing, right? So I sit there, and as I'm whether it's in my bed or wherever I'm taking this moment, I just kind of breathe for a second. I get centered, and then I just kind of wipe the slate clean. I just unplug any attachments that people maybe any expectations, maybe any whatever. I just kind of people, I kind of get this sense of this energetic cord, that they are just taking this energy, this message that I'm sharing. They are loving it. They are absorbing it, right? And so now I have said what I have needed to say. I have shown up as the best version of myself to lead from the front of the room, at that particular time. And now they get to do, it's now their responsibility. So it's almost like this cutting of the cord thing. Okay, you get, I have given what I am going to give to you, and now it's your turn. So I just return back, I just cut any cords, and I just return back what it is that they get to do. And so it just kind of wipes me clean. It just kind of detaches me from any outcome, from any expectation. It detaches me from any continued energetic transaction that might be happening. And that is just kind of the way that I close out my portion as a speaker or as a facilitator. So that's even just an extra tip for you. So those are just some different ways that I prepare, as well as kind of close out for being a speaker at an event. I hope they help. If this resonates with you, if maybe you're oh yes, okay, I am loving these tips. I would love to connect with you on Instagram. Come hang out with me, Business and Bubbly on Instagram, or Charity Majors is my personal account, is my personal brand. And if you are wanting to be a better speaker, maybe you have done some speaking, maybe you are a leader, maybe you are ready to not just, I love this, not that you're not just ready to wait for an invitation to someone else's stage, but you're ready to create, help create your own platform, but maybe you don't necessarily know where to start. We actually have some open positions potentially in your area as a modern woman in business for chapter directors with Business and Bubbly. And what this looks like is we actually walk you through how to become a better speaker, a better facilitator, and a better leader that grows a community of modern women in business. It's not meant to take away from what you're currently doing in your business. It actually is meant to be an asset
to it, right? Because there's a difference between going from what it looks like to be involved to being influential. There's a difference between being in the room to leading the room. And we teach you with proven and profitable systems on how to make those transitions and how to lead a chapter of Business and Bubbly. So if you're interested in doing that in your area, head on over to businessandbubbly.com. You'll see a link where it says apply to become a chapter director. You can learn more about it, see if it's for you. You actually get paid to network. It's a very profitable system. And we are looking for the right type of women to lead, who get the culture of Business and Bubbly, who are ready to implement the culture of Business and Bubbly, who are ready to lead from the front of the room, to be that facilitator, and to really lead an amazing community of modern women in business. So if that's you, then head on over to businessandbubbly.com. You'll find the link. You're smart. I know you will. You can check it out and you'll know whether or not this is for you. But if I hope that these quick little tips helped you if you are a speaker or leading from the front of the room, or maybe you want to learn what that looks like and how to be able to do that. As always, have an amazing day. Cheers to your success, and we will see you next time. So much for listening to the show. I hope it brought some value and some fun into your business and life. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, and even share the episode with a fellow business bestie who you know will love it. It helps us continue to attract top-level guests and reach more and more women who are on their journey in business just like you. Remember that when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. Cheers to your success.